Have you ever heard the phrase, who you know is more important than who you are? Because in the workplace, you may not be the most important player, but it's the person you know. Maybe he can help you build a good network of people, become a factor in your success. Some people may hear this and think, do we have to climb the rich and powerful to be successful only by hugging a big leg? I don't mean that. In fact, objectively speaking, it is very difficult for us to cross many levels to reach those at the top of the pyramid. Why? Because they are the top people at the top. Our cognitive level and value are not even in the same city as theirs. We always hope to meet someone big. Which big boss? But what I want to say today is, if you do not have the strength to know, belong to really not much use. I'm not saying that the network is not important. People are very important in my own entrepreneurial path. Many important notes. I was given a certain amount of help from my network. But it does not mean that we mainly hug legs to make friends. High-end network. Before we have real strength. Instead of spending most of our time in making friends, rather than spend time building ourselves, and then slowly lay out their own network of contacts. Today Who Gets Rich is going to talk to you about, before we have any real power, how can we build our own network? Instead of meeting more people for no purpose, to make more useless social contacts. Instead, let's remind you that I will share more about financial education. I will share with you more about financial education and personal growth videos. If you are interested in this kind of content, you can subscribe to our channel. Start of the program. First of all, let me tell you about my own experience. When I first entered the workforce, I was working in a financial magazine. Because of my career, I often came into contact with many big people. The CEO of some banks, bosses of listed companies, ministers, etc. Once at a business event, I met a big person by chance. The conversation was not bad. We exchanged business cards and phone numbers. I thought it was a very important networking resource. Soon after, I encountered some difficulties in my business. I thought of this big man, so I sent a message often, but found that he did not return once. Called again. The other side also said a few perfunctory words. To be honest, it was really a bit frustrating at the time. I believe that many people around me have encountered this kind of rejection. I thought I had left a business card with the other party. We have saved our phone numbers and should be able to help each other. But we forgot one important thing. Only equal resources can help each other. A lot of socializing is not useful, seemingly leaving someone's phone number. But when we need help most, we can't help much, because we ourselves are not good enough. Although this is cruel, but in the workplace and in business, if it's not our own relatives, family members and good brothers, they are willing to help a person who is not good enough. If we are not good enough, patience is not worth the money. He is not pursued. He is attracted. Only in exchange of equal value. To be able to get reasonable help. Although this may sound cruel, but it is true. When I was working, I also had a friend who was a few years older than me. He spent most of his days with his friends. To put it nicely, he wanted to know more friends to build patience. He often neglected his family for the sake of having dinner and drinks with his friends, spending very little time with his family. In the beginning, there were indeed a group of friends around him. In his heart, having friends means having everything. Later on, some of the life, or the more love the better, friends began to gradually leave. Why? Maybe their business is getting better and better. in addition to the lack of time, may also feel that there is no need for that. Because when we spend most of our time on friendships, we don't have other strong skills. It will also lead to the inability to build a good business foundation. There are unpredictable storms in the sky. Later he became seriously ill. The doctor said this has a lot to do with his life habits. He was always drinking and socializing. Life without discipline. Finally, his business had problems. When he thought his friends would help him out at this time, the friends around him knew he was sick. The business was paid off. One by one, they left him. In the end, only his family was by his side. He was not the only one in this situation. When we are not strong enough, before we are strong enough and good enough, don't spend too much precious time on building a social life. Spend more time building the foundation of your career. Provide highly professional skills. Give up the useless socializing to improve yourself. The world is a bigger place. There is one exception, of course. When you're in trouble, he said we are brothers. When you are rich, he still says we are brothers. This kind of person who will never leave you is called a true friend. When but he does not apply to the above rules. Because what we are talking about today, we're talking about social relationships in the workplace. The most fundamental point is that we need to increase value that can be used by others. If our value is not high, even if we meet someone with high value, they won't care. All the network base is the value that I can be used. The more you can be used, the more people will be willing to help you. Instead of spending time on meeting more people, instead of spending more time improving your own personal value, the core of networking is the exchange of resources. In other words, they are helping you. They also want to benefit from you. Let me give you an example. Li Ka-shing. Li Ka-shing is my idol in the business world. Even though I've tried everything I can think of today, even if I try to exchange contact with Li Ka-shing today, I'm just a person in Elon Musk's newsletter that will always be ignored. Because I don't have the resources he needs. Adult world, you think it's hard to be human in the workplace. As long as you have enough value to be used. Or you can solve a problem. You can get to the heart of other people's needs. Then you will naturally be able to make high-end contacts. The greater the exchangeable value of a person, the larger the social radius. The more people you can attract, the more people are willing to actively deal with you. The value of being used. This may sound too realistic at this point, but mutual benefit is a basic principle of human relationships. Our society needs to promote dedication and altruism. But this highest level of human-computer interaction, it is difficult to ask everyone to do so. The reason why people need to interact with others. Most of the time, people want to satisfy their needs. To satisfy some of their needs. These needs are both spiritual. There are also material needs. Therefore, according to the principle of interpersonal marriage, people actually adopt a strategy that is as emotional as it is, but also utilitarian. So before we are very powerful, how can we lay out our relationship network? Give you 2 suggestions. First, find a workplace mentor. A mentor who is experienced in the workplace, can provide a neutral perspective and a third-party viewpoint. The new insights they bring to the table, wisdom and experience will be of great benefit to us, especially in the early stages of our careers. It can be difficult to figure out which direction we can progress faster. Mentors can help us develop our careers, make more thoughtful decisions. Formal mentorship is important, but informal mentors are also helpful. Our brothers, sisters, family and friends. Informal mentors can be informal mentors. They can bring an outside perspective, as well as their own mature experiences and lessons. To put it more bluntly, it's all about building your own intelligence team. You have lawyers you know. You have a financial advisor. You have a doctor so that if you have any problems, you can have someone to consult with to help solve it. Secondly, develop relationships among colleagues. May you not underestimate the importance of nurturing relationships between colleagues in the same city. Whether they are related to your business or not, is your boss or subordinate, and those who you think are your boss, can also provide you with some experience. Like these experiences are often the opposite. He will warn you which management style is wrong. So how should we cultivate these relationships? The answer is very simple. It is through face-to-face contact with social networks. It won't help us develop deep relationships. We need to get out there and meet people face-to-face. You will learn from people's interactions and the non-verbal cues of the other person, or valuable insights. In the workplace, it's common to see people code word the status quo at work. That leads to stagnant lines of growth and development. If we are willing to step out of our comfort zone, accepting the challenges of the type, we will find many things that make us happy. And in action and teamwork, these connections, the key to building. The key is, you have to know when to take action. My final advice to you is, we need to spend time in the workplace. We need to spend the most time to build our real skills, and then slowly lay out their own network of contacts. Because the network is not in others. It's hidden in our own body. Only when you start to have enough value to use, only then can you get the really useful network. Your own city, the city that determines your social circle. So we need to put all our energy on the things we should do. We need to put our strengths to the best of our abilities. You will naturally attract people to you. Realize your social value. Don't chase a horse. Spend your time chasing horses and planting grass. When the flowers bloom in spring, there will be a horse for you to choose from. Don't deliberately try to stalk a person. Use the time without friends to improve your own ability. Wait until the time is ripe. There will be a large number of friends to go with you. Friends made with favors are only temporary. Attract friends with charisma is the long term. If you bloom, the butterflies will come. The above is all the content belonging to the Self-Importance today. If you have any questions about today's content, or something you want us to discuss, you can also tell us in the comments below. We have read every message with care. We hope that on your way to a better life, we'll be with you all the way. You can forward today's show. Forward it to your 3 best friends. Grow and improve together. If you want to see the next time, you can also see the knowledgeable. Your follow and subscriptions count, and we will go on. Pay attention to his motivation and support. Remember to subscribe our channel to get most information.